Hello Captains, and welcome back to my Let's Play series of the Romulan Faction, playing a Romulan character for the first time as a tactical captain here. And since the last video, I have made a ton of updates on this character. We are much more updated in terms of gear on ground and space. As you can see, I've increased in levels. And that is simply because of me testing different things and builds, and we're almost to level 60 now. We're getting real close, and I mean 65 is like, you know, max level now. So we are getting close, and we're getting there very fast, and we still have a lot of missions to do because we are just now going to be starting. We finished Spectres, and we're going to be starting the Cardassian struggle storyline on this character now. But before we jump into that, this video today is going to be all about the updates I have made to my character. I want to go over all of them with you so you know what I have done and the direction that I'm looking forward to with this character and where I'm going to take him. And this is, of course, Omega. He is my, quote, evil Romulan character, or at least I'm playing him as evil as I can in Star Trek Online. But let's go over all the updates. So the biggest one, obviously, is I've got a new ship. Now, we are level 57. I can fly Tier 6 ships now. No problem, I can fly them. However, I am not flying a Tier 6 ship today. No, instead, what I have is the Daeinos Warbird Destroyer T5-U. Now, why do I have this ship? You're going to say, because there is a Tier 6 version of this ship. Well, the answer is really quite simply, I've never flown it before. It's that simple. I have never flown this ship before, and part of creating this new character and doing this playthrough is to test and play with new starships. Starships I've never used before, never played on before, and I want to experience. And that's the entire goal here. I want to experience new things I've not done before. So yes, there is a Tier 6 version. This is the veteran ship. The one that you get with all the veteran rewards or lifetime account. So this is not your run-of-the-mill ship by any means. But there is a Tier 6 version of this ship, because now Tier 6 is the latest versions of ships. So there is a better version of this ship. But I'm going to start with the Tier 5-U because I need something to compare it with. If in the future I fly the Tier 6 version, I would want to compare it with what it was like to fly the Tier 5 version. And this was basically a Tier 5 version that had a upgrade to Tier 5-U. So this was a Tier 5 ship with an upgrade to Tier 5-U, and there is a Tier 6 available, but this one is the Tier 5-U. And with the Tier 5-U, it of course has the Starship Mastery unlocks. It's got 4 of them, and as you can see, because I've been playing around with it, I've already got 2 of them unlocked. But the first one is Precise Weapon Systems plus 5% accuracy. The second one is reduces the cooldown time on Singularity powers by 15% and increases your Singularity charge rate by 30%. And then the third one, which is not unlocked yet, will give me increased energy and kinetic damage. So I'll do more damage with it after the third one is increased. And then the last one will give me a higher critical chance on this ship as well. Now, what I like about this ship and why I chose this ship to test right now is because it is highly, and I mean highly, tactically or escort oriented. As you can see, it has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 tactical console slots, okay? 5. This thing is just maxed out on tactical. Then we have 1, 2, 3, 4 forward and 3 aft weapon slots. A powerful ship, a powerful escort ship. In terms of stations, it's got a commander tactical station and then a lieutenant commander universal station, which I am using as another tactical station. And then it's got lieutenant science and engineering, and then another ensign universal, which I am also using for another engineering. So basically I have a ton of great tactical powers on this thing. I'm able to use several, or a couple at least, Tier 3 tactical abilities on this thing. So this is really geared toward my character, which is very much focused on being a tactical / escort captain. Very powerful. This is a high DPS character. The whole point of this build and this character is high DPS as a Reman. So, what have I done to facilitate this high DPS? Well, one thing I've done, because I have heard this is actually a very powerful build or weapons, is to use something a little different. I was using plasma before. We're no longer using plasma. I'm using disruptor. I am using disruptor energy damage. But it goes even further than that, folks. Further than that. I think the music might be a little bit too loud. I'm not sure. It is in my headphones. It might not be for you, but it is in my headphones. I'm just going to turn it down slightly. Check out what I'm using here. I am using the Coalition Disruptor weapons. Okay, the Coalition Disruptor. I have heard that this is like the most powerful disruptor build you can get. Like, these are the weapons that you want if you want a powerful disruptor build, and it's because of their innate abilities. They have this ability that they're designed to work in tandem with one another by reducing the target's resistance specifically to disruptor damage to a larger degree than standard disruptors affect all damage resistance. So basically, these, I guess, debuff your enemy in a greater way. They reduce their resistance to disruptor damage, and, well, they are doing disruptor damage greater than would normally would work. So the enemy ships are even more susceptible to disruptor damage, basically, even more susceptible. And I think by reading this, it sounds like they work in tandem with one another. Sounds to me like they kind of work together. The more you have, the more of that damage resistance you lessen on the enemy. So if all of my weapons are Coalition Disruptor, then I should be able to get the maximum amount of reducing their resistance to disruptor damage and just doing a ton of damage. And that's the goal. So, up front, I've got Coalition Disruptor dual heavy cannons. 3 of them. And I re-engineered them to crit D times 3. So these are very rare, Mark 12 right now, crit D times 3. And of course, they can be upgraded to Mark 15 Epic, is the highest level now. They are not upgraded yet. It takes a lot of resources to do that. I'm going to wait for one of those upgrade weekends, when they do like double XP on upgrades to upgrade these weapons, because it's very expensive and hard to upgrade weapons, especially to upgrade them in the quality up to epic level. So I'm going to wait to do that, but as you can see, I'm going to go all crit D, like crit D times 4 on these suckers. So that's going to be really powerful. And then in the back, check this out, Coalition Disruptor turrets. Also crit D times 3 on all the turrets as well, Mark 12. And again, I will upgrade them as well to do like crit D times 4 on them. So we're critting D out the butthole on this ship. I mean, just all the crit Ds, right? All the crit Ds. And then up front right now, I just have a quantum torpedo launcher. Nothing fancy yet, because we still have many missions to play, and one of the missions that we're going to play much later on toward the end is going to give me a cool kind of quantum torpedo that I like, that like reduces shields, but it's toward like the end of the everything. It's in the future series or Iconian, one of those. And it gives you this like quantum torpedo that will reduce shields, but I have to wait a long time for that. As for the ship set, I have the Aegis set on right now. Of course, there's better out there with the reputations, but this is a great medium or intermediate set until I get all the reputations unlocked. Obviously, that's a huge grind. So, for right now, this is purchasable from the exchange. I had the energy credits, and so I did it. So this is the Aegis Deflector, the Aegis Impulse Engines, and the Aegis Covariant Shield, which, by the way, I did upgrade to Mark 14, as you can see right here. I did upgrade that to Mark 14, which has a very high shield capacity because it's a covariant shield. And then for my Singularity Core, I went with our Fleet version. I have access to, Fleet stuff, and I got the Elite Fleet Thoron infused Singularity Core with AMP O-Load Sing S SSS W cap. And that's all the specs on it right there. You can pause and read all the specs on it, but basically that's going to help me a whole lot and give me all the power I need. In terms of other consoles, I of course have the Borg assimilated module. I do have a conductive RCS accelerator on here. Check this out. This gives me engine power, turn rate buff, and when healed, applies conductive accelerator for 15 seconds, which gives me shield resistance and a plus 20% turn rate when I do heal. So that is really cool, and I wanted that because I needed a little bit more maneuverability out of the ship. I needed to turn a little bit faster, and I wanted a little bit more engine power to move a little bit faster. In fact, I still want more engine power. I'm at 45 down there on engine power, as you can see, and that's really not enough for me. Of course, that will increase with my level as I increase. For resistance, I do have a neutronium Epic, actually. It's Epic Mark 14. It just went ahead and bumped itself up to Epic when I was upgrading it, so hey, I take it. Plus 25 all damage resistance. I do have a shield capacity generator as well. And then, of course, all my tactical consoles are disruptor damage. Now, like I said, I do have access to fleet consoles, but it is very expensive to get these tactical consoles. They are 50,000 fleet credits each, and then like 8,500 dilithium each. So I would need 50, 100, 150, 200. I'd need 250,000 fleet credits to max out my tactical consoles with the fleet version. So that's going to take a little bit of time and grinding to get there. Just not quite there yet, but for right now, a good placeholder is these just regular disruptor damage improvements here. And the fact that all of them are filled, all the slots are filled, is just going to help me do a lot of disruptor damage. And so yes, this is a cannon build. Yes, I'll be using rapid fire, cannon, scatter, volley, all that stuff, but I've got really powerful cannons, coalition disruptors, disruptor damage as much as I can get it going right now. I've got the Aegis set on this thing, and of course I'll be grinding the reputations, and then I've got the mastery unlocks going as well for this tier 5U version, which will, when I get the third one unlocked here, it's going to give me a flat out plus 10% energy damage improvement anyway. So this is a good build, and this is going to be awesome. I cannot wait to take this into missions and really test this ship out. Oh, I forgot to tell you all about the unique console it comes with. Obviously, it is a unique tier 5 ship because it is the veteran ship. So it has what is called the dynamic tactical system. It sounds complicated, and when you look at all this on your screen, it looks complicated. But basically, there's two modes to this ship: an attack mode and a more of a Healy mode that does like a different kind of weapon power. And you switch between the two modes. One of them has like a powerful Lotus kind of like firing thing, and then the other one has like a tachyon inversion beam. So two different powers depending what mode your ship is in, but switching modes does change some of the specifications of your ship. So I'm probably pretty much not ever really going to need to go into attack mode. My ship is so powerful anyway, I'll probably just leave it in the default defense mode it's in now. But I will show you both modes. I do have those available to me anyway if I ever needed it. And of course, in terms of my stations, like I said, I've got Cannon Rapid Fire 3, I got Torpedo Spread 3, Beta, a tactical team, couple of tactical teams, got Torpedo High Yield 2, Cannon Scatter Volley, Science Team 2, and Hazards, Emergency Power to Weapons 2, and Engineering Team 1, and Emergency Power to Shields. This has no specialized seating, so no command seating, no pilot seating, no temporal seating, none of that stuff. It's just your plain old bog standard seatings and basic powers that you can put on here. But it works fine, works just fine. In terms of skills, I think I've maxed out all that I can put in skills right now. And I've gone down a very tactical path. As you can see, like almost everything is in tactical until we get to Admiral, where I put everything into warp core potential to help with power levels and so forth. but I do have offensive subsystem tuning and defensive at the same time. The only thing I wish I had more of was this long-range targeting sensor maxed out, but I don't really know anything that I would want to sacrifice in order to make that fill out. Maybe, I guess... No, nothing. No, maybe this one. Maybe damage control. I would probably maybe sacrifice damage control to have long-range targeting sensors maxed out. That would allow me to do more damage anyway, because I'm all about the damage, really, on this ship. So that's the skills are basically how they are. Of course, I can retrain them anytime I want. Ground, that's the ground skills. I've got everything into, like, weapon proficiency on the ground. I want to do the most DPS on ground as well. So weapon proficiency, weapon expert, weapon criticals, improved weapon criticals, weapon penetration, and improved weapon penetration. All of this is unlocked, where I just have one personal shield expert, one kit performance expert, and then endurance training and improved endurance training for a little bit more health capacity. But basically, this is the key here for doing all the DPS on the ground. So that is how I have that set up. Specializations. I am working on the pilot specialization. Obviously, it's just begun and there's a lot to do. So that is going under traits. Of course, I haven't reached level 60 yet, so I still have that open. But I have my traits set pretty much for right now, set pretty good. In space, I've got like accurate and elusive and thrill seeker, and then of course I have increased weapons, I've got operative, I've got cannon training for my cannons, and threat. I want more crit severity, anything that improves crit severity or crit chance. I have that. Under starship traits, I have starship traits, and the reason why I have all these starship traits is because of other characters I have on this account that have starship traits. I am able to go to my dilithium store and go to things like account starship trait unlocks, and right now it's empty, but that's because I claimed all of the account starship trait unlocks that I had, and that's just from having unlocks on other characters. And I was able to put it on this character and then have some starship traits that I wouldn't normally have on this character. Things like I've got retaliation, damage, and critical hit chance buff after critical hit. I got shield overload, which is going to increase damage resistance. I've got battle ready, which is plus defense and plus defense resistance after using engineering thing. I've got desperate repairs, large shield, and whole heal after 3 incoming critical hits. The other things like ground reputation and space reputation, this is just based on your reputations, which I'm just now starting to work on. And Omega is the first one I'm working on. So I've got medical nanites and weapon proficiency on ground, but I don't have anything in space yet. So that's just a work in progress right there. I have... Here's the stats on the ship, by the way, while we're in space. We're at Kronos right now. So these are the real stats, but we've got a 266% power transfer rate, 17.50 stealth detection rating. I've got a defense rating of 93.1, which is pretty good when I'm at full impulse. My hull strength is very low. That's the one downside to this ship. 48,000 is not very good. However, I still have ranks to climb. By the time I get to 65, that will be higher because it does increase with my skill level. And my shield strength is also not as high as I would want, almost 10,000. Even though this is a covariant shield, it's not one of the more higher capacity ones, so, But it still can be upgraded to Mark 15, and it can be upgraded to Epic, which will also help more. And then my resists are like in the mid-30s. I've got a 7.5% crit chance and a 70% crit severity. So, those things will have to be worked on too. My crit chance will increase when I'm able to put the fleet consoles in here. That increased my crit chance. My turn rate with the RCS I have is 34.7 degrees a second. So I'm able to turn really well. that's the kind of turn rate I want flying cannons. I'm able to get right where I need to and turn very fast. I just wish the engine speed was a little more. But being how I want to fly this ship and how quick and maneuverable I want it to be, I'm happy with that turn rate, and that is because of that RCS accelerator that I put on there, thankfully. Without it, I think it's just a little too slow for me. But with it, with this thing, very much better. Okay, I've also done like some changes to my bridge officers. I don't know if I have had these before, but I do now. I've got a liberated Borg Reman male as one of my bridge officers. Tovin Kev is still a bridge officer. Miss Kitty, I have a Pharasian female. And I have a robot. I have an android female. So very unique bridge officers here that are going to go on the ground with me and help do a lot of damage and do a lot of things. But also I've assigned the ones to space that benefit me the most. For example, let's go to my space stations here. 3 of 4 is assigned in space, and if I go to 3 of 4 and look under his traits, one of his traits is efficient for space, and that increases warp core efficiency, all power levels when low power. So I've assigned the appropriate people to space that are going to help me in space. Another one that is helpful, because I know I have like operative and stuff like that, is let's say Tovin Kev. He's assigned to space because he has Romulan Operative, which is plus crit and crit severity and reduced cloak cooldown. So that he's important to have assigned to space. And the other ones as well, I believe Satra and Devex. Satra has Operative, and Devex has Basic Space Warfare Specialist. So he basically plus 4 starship defense maneuvering, plus 4 starship weapon accuracy, plus 4 weapon specialization, and plus 4 starship weapon amplification. So he does a whole lot there. So that's good. So I have that assigned. So I have all the appropriate ones assigned to space that help me in space. And then for the ground, I got 3 of 4, which is my Borg, or liberated Borg, Tovin Kev, because you know you will always want him by your side. I've got my android with me, and then my Pharazin, or for however you pronounce it, the cat lady. I have the cat lady with me, the furry cat lady. So that is on ground, and that will really make a good ground-based group there. And then they all have the weapons. I have been upgrading their gear as well as mine. So, like, they have the Herald anti-proton high-density beam projectors, Mark 10. You know, I need to upgrade them for sure, but it's just all about the resources right now. I gotta wait. They have at least Mark 12 armor and shields, though. So they have that. Just want to make sure I get all the space stuff done before we go to the ground stuff on the character. Yeah, that's pretty much the space stuff. This thing is just real powerful, and I cannot wait. Let me just show you the 2 modes real quick. In this mode, which is the default mode, I have this ability here called Tachyon Inversion Beam, which is a negative 162 all shields per pulse, and 157 all shields each pulse to myself. It basically drains the target. And when I switch modes, now I'm in attack mode, this becomes available. This is the Plasma Lotus. Now it is plasma based, and I am not buffing plasma currently. So it really is not as powerful as it could be. If you really wanted to maximize the Plasma Lotus, well, you're going to want to put, you know, plasma tactical consoles in there, but I've got Disruptor. So that's another reason why I'm probably not going to be using the Plasma Lotus a lot on this ship. I'll probably just leave it in its default configuration and use the Tachyon Inversion Beam. There we go, and we're back to the default position. So that's what the console does, but I'll probably mostly just leave it in this position because, again, I'm not buffing plasma damage, and so it's not going to be as good as it could be. Now let's talk ground real quick, as fast as I can here. Let's get through this. This is what I've got on ground for myself. I've upgraded my Neutronium armor. I'm still keeping that one. It's from that earlier mission we played, and I really like it. So I'm just going to keep it until I get, you know, a reputation unlocked or something and change all my stuff. This shield, I've just got a personal shield with cap ×3 and reg on it, and it's marked 14 ultra rare. Same kit frame. I got tactical kit frame here, armor, weapon crit, weapon damage. I do have some new abilities that I'm going to try out. I've got a universal kit module, proto-matter munition deployment, targeted AoE radiation damage, and call in a barrage of 5 proto-matter strikes. This is from like the Zenkethi stuff, so I'm looking forward. I've never used it before, so I'm looking forward to trying that on ground. And then I have this one is a stasis drone. It summons a stasis drone for 20 seconds. It's got a fragile hold on the enemy and a radiation attack. I've never used it before, so I'm going to try it out. Just as simple as that. Otherwise, I've got battle strategies, plasma grenade, and rally cry here. And of course, some of these can be upgraded as well. They're not quite upgraded yet. But my stats are pretty good on ground, and the big thing is, of course, I'll do a lot of DPS on the ground because my skills are like maxed out in that department. So that will be good on ground, and I think that's like mostly everything here. Reputation, I'm working on the Omega reputation at the moment, as you can see. So that is what is in progress. And I will work on the others too, but I want to get Task Force Omega completely updated first. Because I think I do want to get the kinetic cutting beam. So basically, I'll just keep that going there. Stations, traits, skills. Yeah, we went over all of this. My character there. Really not much more to go through. As you can see, this I think will end up being a pretty decent character. I did want to look at where is the thing to enable. Oh, it's already enabled. Never mind. Down here. What I wanted to look at was my DPSs and everything. So for the dual heavy coalition disruptor cannons, I'm doing 1612 disruptor damage and 1289 DPS, and that should be the same on all of them. And then the turrets in the back are doing 559 disruptor damage and 671 DPS. But of course, if I hit, you know, like emergency powered weapons too, which I should before I go into battle, and alpha and my alpha attack, then look at that. Goes up to 2064 DPS, 2580 disruptor damage. So that's one of the starship traits that's enabled right there. So this ship is pretty much packed and ready to go. I also have many singularity abilities: plasma shockwave, quantum absorption, warp shadow, singularity jump, and singularity overcharge 1. So I should be set up pretty good for stuff. You know, pretty good for all the missions we have to do in the future. This should be a very powerful ship. Very powerful ship. Let's do something today, in fact. Not sure exactly what you guys would like to see. Maybe we can do the swarm. Or do something else. Oh, actually, you know what would be good is the current endeavor is counterpoint, but I've already done it. I really don't want to get a ton of skill on this character because we're already leveling up so fast. I want to do something that I can demonstrate for you all, but also won't like increase my skill a ton. Maybe I can go do a patrol. I wonder if I can just go do a patrol, simple patrol, somewhere. I'm going to go ahead and pause the video here, and I'm going to go find me a good patrol to test the ship out. Something that won't give me a ton of XP, but will allow me to just demonstrate the weapons and stuff on the ship for you so you can see it. Well, there's a deep space encounter down there, actually. That could work. Those typically do not give a lot of XP. So that would be a very good thing to test right there. I think we'll make it. Yep. Let's do this deep space encounter, because these do not give a lot of XP. But at least I can show you what the ship looks like in battle. How does that sound? Gone. Just gone. Just absolutely gone. I don't even have to do much. I didn't even buff all my stuff up all the way.
Target shields have failed.
That's how powerful my ship is, guys. I don't even have to do any buffs. I just shoot them and they go down. He was only one level below me, so not that bad. Yeah, really, I have to worry. All I have to worry about is the damage that this ship takes, because it does not have a high tolerance for it.
More shields failing.
These ships like to hide from me, but they won't get away.
Under attack. Hull integrity below 75%. Hull integrity below 75%. More shields failing. Target shields have failed.
There's the plasma shockwave. Yep, there we go. I killed him basically with my turrets. This is such a good build. I just really do like it. And it's only going to get better. It's only going to get better. Here's the tachyon beam.
More shields failing. Target shields have failed.
Congratulations, Admiral.
And there you go. Now, of course, I'm level 58. Got a few things, but not anything real great. And that just kind of gives you an idea how this ship flies in combat. As you can see, it's going to be very powerful. And once we get into the missions, I think you're going to love this ship. I think I'm going to love this ship. And so obviously that's where it counts, is when we start getting into those missions and really, you know, playing these upper level missions. Now that we're getting towards max level of the game, everything will be open to us. And so the question you're probably asking, when am I going to get a tier 6 ship? Well, obviously that's going to be a little while, because we're at 58 and I've only just now, I haven't even done any new missions with this ship yet. It's just been these patrols and stuff to help me figure it out and see what build and powers and stuff I want. And so I'll probably, at this point, I'll probably wait till at least level 65 before I do a tier 6 ship, which is max level of the game. And the reason is, I really want to, you know, play on this ship for a while and learn about it and get a good feeling for it. And that way I can cross-compare its tier 6 version later on. I'll have something to compare it to and see if it's better or worse. For example, by playing this one first. And using coalition disruptors, I think, is just the most brilliant idea. I think that's the best idea right there, because I have heard they are powerful, and I can read, and it sounds like they are very powerful as well. So that's going to help a lot in space battles. And so that's pretty much where we are. That is a complete update on this character. If I have left anything out that I missed in this video, I will talk about it in the next one. It's very possible I have. There's just a lot to go over when you're completely changing around characters and powers and retraining and, you know, equipping a new ship and just doing all of that. I like it. It's fun. I like it like that. It is quite fun. But it is, you know, takes a lot of time. So anyway, I think we've got a good build going here, and I think in the future when we get tier 6 going, that's going to be cool too. But yeah, we've got a lot of missions ahead of us. We're just now starting the Cardassian struggle, so it's going to be a while before we, you know, get there. I think we'll hit 65 pretty quickly, but you know, even after that, I've got so much grinding to do on reputations and all kinds of other stuff, you know, that it's just going to take time. But I am looking forward to trying out this ship in the next mission we do, which is the Cardassian struggle stuff. I think it's going to end up being pretty fun to fly. Finally, that escort feel I've been waiting for is here. So those are my thoughts currently on this ship, my playthrough, where I'm at on the playthrough. The new ship specs and where it's at, and hopefully we'll see it in action. You know, just stay tuned and watch the videos, and as I play each one, I'll be taking the ship into combat, and we will see what it's really got. So anyway, thank you for watching this update video on my Romulan Faction Riemann playthrough. In the next video, we will resume and continue the storyline missions with the first Cardassian mission, using this build and ship and everything I just showed you today in this video. So there you go, everybody. Thank you all for watching and leaving your comments and letting me know what you think of the ship, my playthrough, just life in general. Thank you for watching, and stay tuned for the next one.